Listen, besties, this build, I'm gonna be honest, it really did break me. Hey besties, it's Nat, back again with another Animal Crossing speed build. But today isn't just any speed build, besties. Today is my 100th video on this channel, or at least I'm pretty sure it's my 100th video, unless YouTube is lying to me. But to commemorate that, I wanted to do something a little special. This is a big build that I've been working on for a long time, and I'm so excited to finally share it with you because it turned out so great. But a couple of housekeeping things first. First of all, you may have noticed this video is a week late, and that is because I got sick. I appreciated all of your messages over the past week. They really warmed my heart, and I really loved sharing little progress shots of the build with you all on Discord. So thank you all again for your well wishes. I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm still a little bit Kermit the Frog voice going on. You're gonna hear that in the video, trust me. Apologies in advance for that. But yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm happy to be back. Excited to be streaming again. That I've been looking forward to a lot. So that was our first bit of housekeeping. But importantly, I wanted to just take a moment to commemorate Carlo Bonomi, who was the voice actor of Pingu, the penguin, who does my intro sound that you hear at the beginning of all of my videos. Pingu was one of my favorite shows growing up. It brought me so much joy and laughter. Even as an adult, it still brings me that. And I just wanted to thank him for all of the laughs over the years and all the smiles, and commemorate him in some way because he's so important to me and to this channel and this community. So thank you, Carlo, for literally decades of laughs, and here's to decades of laughs to come. Watch an episode of Pingu today. After this video, though, watch the video first, but watch an episode of Pingu today, and let me know what your favorite episode is. If you grew up with Pingu, if you watch it as an adult, because it's hilarious. I think my favorite episode is probably the one where Pingu's parents go to the opera and they leave him and Pingu home alone, because the sibling energy in that is just incredible. Rest in peace, Carlo. I don't know how meaningful it is to dedicate a stupid little internet video of me playing Animal Crossing to you. But once again, thank you for years of laughs. And now, with all of that being said, let's get into the video. Hey besties, it's a voiceover Nat, and I'm here with you deep in my Muppet era. Apologies again for the congestion. You're gonna be dealing with it for a long time, but to be fair, I've dealt with it for over a week now. I am feeling mostly better, but for some reason I just woke up this morning and it was Muppet vibes, so that's what we're doing today for this voiceover. I wanted this voiceover to be good, but I don't know how much my body agrees with that idea, so we're just gonna keep it going. We're just keep it rolling. As you can see, this is some old footage. You might recognize this footage actually, because this was recorded back when I did my Ghibli Forest build, which you should check out. I'll link it in the card. But in that video, I mentioned how this whole area was gonna be like a multi-part series, and this is that. This is the second part of that series. We're gonna have more parts because this ended up taking a long time, if you can tell by the runtime of this video. But yes, I am demolishing this area. In the Ghibli Forest video, I did the front half of the forest, and then in this video, we're doing the back half where the forest sort of peels away and we have a beautiful field of wheat. That's what I envisioned in my mind. I was like, we're doing a beautiful, gorgeous field of wheat, and we're gonna have the campsite tucked away in the back of it, and you're gonna have a beautiful view of the field of wheat. And this hour-long video is my process of that, and it sucked. I'm gonna be honest with you. The worst part of that being when I had to time travel for a month and a half, stopping every single day to order 5 wheat fields so that I had enough wheat fields to this project. Now you might be thinking to yourself, why didn't you just use a treasure island? And that is because I am dumb and have still not figured out how to use them. I know, I say this, I've said this in multiple videos recently, but I'm dumb, okay? This is a known fact about me. I'm sorry. I'll figure it out eventually, but right now I'm time traveling a month and a half to order 5 wheat fields. So I started in the middle of May, ended at the end of June, and now we're in July, and we're working on this build. Actually, I mean, not in real life in July, but like in my game, I'm in July. I want to get to August though, because I love the fireworks festival. It's my favorite holiday. Okay, anyways, I was going to share with you, because I do not hate myself, I did not record all of the time traveling that I did, but I was going to share some letters that I received from my villagers while I was time traveling and sort of give you some updates from that. So most of these little anecdotes are from Marshall, because Marshall is such a character. He really is. So he sent me a letter in the mail saying, I had the most amazing dream the other night. You and I co-owned a very hip housewares boutique and business was booming. This was our best-selling item. Should we make this dream a reality? And the item was a trash can. So yeah, that I could not have made that up. That was thank you, Marshall. Appreciate that. I also got a letter from Bo asking me if I was wearing my clothes backwards the other day or if I was walking backwards. And he said either way, it was real neat. So that was Bo. And finally, I got this fabulous letter from Genji. Yo, hottie. So I had this dream. I was playing baseball on the moon, and it was snowing protein powder, and the hoop was made of fish. And then I won and was crowned king of Moon Muscle City. Anyway, I got you this, Dream Athlete Genji. Now, you may have noticed something. I'm pretty sure that is supposed to say I was playing basketball on the moon, because there is no hoop in baseball. I might not know anything about sports, besties, but I do know that. Or maybe that's just a little bit of Genji personality for you. Oh, here's another one from Marshall. To my pal Dimples, I had a strange dream about you last night. You were absolutely crushing some bibimbap, like you were tearing into it, just getting wild. Anyway, I woke up hungry and decided to write you. Tastily, Marshall. So yeah, that's a little bit of the letters that I received from my villagers while I was away. I also met a celebrity. I had a celebrity at my campsite, which was exciting. And I had a couple of conversations with Marshall, including one where he was telling me about how he makes kung fu movies in his basement, and no one can hear him scream from his basement, which, first of all, great reference, Marshall. I love Alien as well, but that is concerning. That is concerning information. Another piece of concerning information is that Marshall washes his hair with motor oil. That was honestly, that's very Mask of him. Like, that's a little out of character for him. I don't know whose influence that might have been, but I learned a lot about Marshall over the past month and a half of in-game time. And now you know all of those things as well. And I hope you're enjoying me cleaning up this cliff. As you can see, I was trying to like pull everything back to make room for the wheat field, but the big part of this build is the view, similar to my previous Ghibli Forest build. I wanted to get the view right so you could climb up to the cliff and look out over the wheat field. And I wanted it to look good in the field as well, but I really wanted that view to like be perfect. So I had to get the distance of the cliff from the water correct in order to get the view correct, if that makes sense. So that's the biggest part of this build that we're going to be working on, is just making sure that the cliff goes out far enough that the view looks good from the cliff, but also that it's not too far so there's enough room for the wheat field to be big and grand, if that makes sense. But you know, there's still quite a bit of cleaning up left to do in this area, as you can see. So why don't we do a little bit of a story time, and I'll tell you how I got Miss Rona, because I know exactly when I got it, which is very frustrating as someone who has been avoiding it for 2 years. But the story of how that came to be is a little bit interesting. So let's do a little story time. So 2 weeks ago, I was invited out on a date. I know, besties, I know. And it wasn't even the first date either. This was multiple dates in, okay, besties? Look at me go. Oh my god, if this had been the first date. But yes, anyways, I was invited on a date. This person invited me to a cafe that I'd never been to before in Little Five Points, which is a neighborhood in Atlanta with lots of like little shops and things. It's a cool area, lots of thrift stores over there. So they took me out to the cafe. We were just hanging out, enjoying each other's company, and they mentioned to me how later in the evening they were going to a birthday party for a friend who was visiting out of town, and they hadn't gotten a gift for them yet. And of course, once again, we were in Little Five Points, which has all those little thrift stores and things. So it's like, okay, this is the perfect area to look for a gift for your friend. So we moved to the car, of course, because you have to move the car because it's Atlanta and nothing is walking distance, even in areas that are supposed to be walked around. But we moved the car closer to the shops we wanted to go to. And by the time we had done that, it had started to rain. Now, that's also very normal for Atlanta. It rains pretty much every single day in the summertime, in the afternoon. But this was not a normal rain. This rain ended up developing, but we didn't know that at the time, so we just grabbed the umbrella out of the car and we walked over to the record shop, which was our first stop on our little tour. I got a copy of Renaissance on CD, and I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet because nothing has CD drives anymore, and I am too lazy to charge my old laptop. But I'll keep you posted, bestie. I'll keep you posted. Obviously, I've been streaming it nonstop the past week, even though I can't. I've been too weak to like dance, and so I've just been listening to it in my bed, sad and alone. But yeah. I got my little copy of Renaissance, and after that, we tried to leave the store, and we realized that it was like a downpouring thunderstorm outside, like dangerous, like lightning everywhere. The streets were flooded. It was a mess, but we couldn't stay in the store because we had to go. And I asked them, like, hey, do you want to just like leave and go back to the car? And they were like, no, we're going to the other store that we planned on going to, which was up the street. So we ended up having to stop at another 2 stores in between to stay out of the rain. We had the umbrella out. I was holding the umbrella. We were under each other. It was very romantic, but also very messy and very wet. We ran to avoid getting splashed by the cars. We poked around in the other little shops, and we finally made it to the shop that we intended to get to, and we spent a lot of time hanging out in there. I got some snacks. They had like a little snack section. Didn't find a gift for their friend, but once again, we had that very romantic interaction where we were running through the rain together. And then after that, they invited me to go with them to the dinner because it was like a big group dinner. So I was like, sure, why not? You know, I'm not doing anything. Might as well extend this date. We're having fun. So we quickly stopped at my place on the way to the restaurant, and I changed shoes because my shoes were disgusting because I had been wearing Birkenstocks. Just feet out in the rain, and it was terrible. But, you know, I changed my shoes, and I'm glad that I did because we rolled up to the restaurant, and little did I know that this person had booked their birthday dinner at the fanciest Italian restaurant in Atlanta. Ooh, here I am working on the cliff. I completely forgot that I'm doing a speed build voiceover. I'm working on the cliff area to try and figure out the distance for the view. Oh my god, we're placing down the wheat fields. We're placing down the wheat fields. Okay, besties, I wanted to show one shot of like my storage full of wheat fields. I cut out all the other shots of my storage, don't worry. But I just wanted to show you. I had started placing them down sort of periodically just to keep them out of my storage while I was time traveling, but this is the beginning of the madness, besties, and as you can see, I'm placing them sort of like offset to make it look more natural, and I do like that look, but that will come back to bite me later. We'll see that in a minute. But yes, little did I know, or the person who had taken me out on this date, that their friend had booked the fanciest Italian restaurant in Atlanta for their birthday dinner. So I showed up. Thank God I had changed into heels. Whatever possessed me to do that, my mind. But I had a little sundress on and some heels, so it was fine. We went into the restaurant. Like I said, very fancy, very expensive. I was also very nervous because I did not have expensive Italian restaurant money on me at the time. But I made it work. The waiter, the chef saw a bunch of, you know, cute girls sitting at a table together, which was us, the birthday group, and he brought us out some free food, so that was nice. But we were hanging out, I was being introduced to people, and then this couple walks in, and they are guests for the birthday party. Like I said, I don't know any of these people except for my date. This couple walks in, and they have a bird with them. Besties, they had a bird with them, okay? It was like a little like a little parrot, like a little yellow, I don't know. I used to have birds, or my mom still has birds. I used to live with my mom and her birds. But I used to have like little parakeet type birds. A parakeet, that's the word. A little yellow parakeet. Her name, she had some beautiful name, like Charlotte something. It was like a long, beautiful name. And she was so well behaved. This bird, I have never met a bird that well behaved in my life. And I think the reason that that no one at the restaurant like said anything or like did anything is because they just walked in fully confident that their bird would be well behaved, and they were right. They just walked in casually with the bird on each other's shoulders, passing the bird back and forth, just like, you know, this is our bird. The people at the table next to us, they were interested in the bird. They were talking about the bird. The bird, all she did, she just sat there and she looked around and she slept a little bit. She's a people bird and she loves people, so, you know, she was enjoying herself. But yeah, the bird, that was a moment. Loved the bird. Did not love the fact that I was in a very crowded restaurant for the first time in over 2 years. I had not been in that sort of environment. And, you know, I was like, you know, I'll keep my mask on when I'm not eating, when I'm at the table, or when I go up to the restroom. But, you know, I still had to eat and interact with the other people at the table. And that was probably when Miss Rona attacked. But if not, it was after the date when we moved to like a sports bar that had like bowling and other games. But what we didn't know is that a Braves game had happened that night, and the bar was outside of the Braves stadium. So it was packed. That's honestly probably where I got it. That's honestly probably where it hit me. Where Miss Rona got me was at the bar outside the Braves stadium. Me and the people around me were probably the only people in the bar wearing masks, and that is how that happened. But, you know, it was a fun time. We ended up not actually playing any games because my date and I were the only ones who showed up besides the birthday girl. But we had fun, and like I said, we're going on more dates after this, so that'll be fun as well. Here I am starting the road that leads up to the campsite. Like I mentioned previously, this is going to be a multi-part series, and we're going to have a dedicated video working on the road that connects this section of road to the rest of my island. But for now, we're just doing a little bit of it. And here I am placing more wheat fields. Listen, besties, this build, I'm going to be honest, it really did break me. Like, that's not an exaggeration. That's not hyperbole. These wheat fields, looking at this, you are probably thinking to yourself, why did she think this was a good idea? And to that I say, I don't know. I don't think that I necessarily thought it was a good idea, but I certainly did try it, and I paid the price for that. The first price of that being lag, as you can imagine. I got several comments on Discord as I was posting progress shots of this build of, oh my god, the lag. And you are 100% right if you looked at this and were like, your game must be running at 3 frames per second, because it absolutely is at times. The end result ended up being, honestly, smoother than I was expecting it to be. But it's not smooth. It's definitely not smooth. Definitely the most laggy part of my island by like a lot. And not necessarily with items popping in and out, but just literally lag. Like, it's slow over here. But besides that, honestly, the biggest part was just shuffling things around. Like I said earlier, the offsetting of the wheat fields to get them to look natural, that was a mistake, because later on I was trying to plant things and put things that had to be on exact tiles and couldn't be offset, and that was a bit of a nightmare. There was a point while I was working on this where I was like, what if I turn this into a flower field like the one outside of my house? That may still happen. I don't know whether or not I don't know. I don't think it'll happen, because I think the way that I've gotten it, oh my god, look at this. Look at that. Oh my god. Anyways, I think the way that I've gotten it, it's manageable, and I don't have to hang out in that area all the time. It's just for show. It's just for looks, not necessarily for gameplay. But I do want to play on this island, so like I said, it'll develop. We'll see. Here I am trying to connect that little waterfall at the front of the mountain area to this back area, because I envisioned like a little stream running through the wheat fields. Now you can see where the whole offsetting the tiles thing would come back to bite me, because now I'm using waterscaping. And also this whole section with those 2 trees down there, I don't know what I was thinking, besties. Once again, we'll deal with that, okay? You're gonna see me struggle to do the cliff trick with the tree. It's going to be a nightmare, but I figured it out in the end, and I'm proud of myself for that. I also demolished this incline that you just saw, and so now you can sort of just walk through the forest and come out on the other side, and you're in the valley, I suppose is the best word for it. I also kind of want to put a lighthouse up on this cliff that I'm working on right now. I'm also carving it out a little bit more so you can actually walk behind there to get to my secret beach. Just to have more accessibility, and also for my villagers, because they can't use ladders, so I want them to be able to get around so I can see them in different spots on my island. But I thought about putting more cedar trees as well as a lighthouse up there, so now I'll have 3 lighthouses on my island. But once again, that's going to be at a later date. I already know that I need to do that road video. I also need to work on the mountain areas a little bit more, and I need to do a beach decorating video. I actually intended to include the beach decorating in this video, but then the scope of the main wheat field just sort of kept compounding, and that's probably going to be the Saturday video. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to decorate the beach next to the campsite. Speaking of the beach, actually, I would not say that the title of this video is clickbait. I definitely ordered over 200 wheat fields over my time traveling period, and then also a little bit before that when I was collecting them in anticipation of like the big time traveling moment that happened. I don't actually know for sure if there are 200 wheat fields on the ground by the end of the video. So, you know, if you looked at that final little shot of the view of the wheat field, I don't know if you would see 200 wheat fields on the ground, like if you could count them all individually. But it's somewhere in that range, between 150 and 200. And by the time we do the beach, it will definitely be closer to 200. Once again, this build absolutely broke me. I do not know what possessed me, why I thought that it would be easy to place 200 items on the ground and make them look good also. Like, this isn't just like, I could place 200 items on the ground, you know? Like, if Isabel wanted me to do 3 stars in 10 minutes, I could place 200 items on the ground, besties. But to place them all down and make them look good, that was the real challenge. And at first, there were moments where I didn't think I was up for it, but I think I really do like how this build turned out, a lot more than I thought. There's really only 2 things about it that I think I would change that I'll sort of tell you about as we sort of go along. But the final result, I think, is really spectacular, and it achieved my goal of having a great view. I'm not confident in my ability to create views on my island. That's one of the things that I feel like I struggle with when it comes to building, is getting views right, because I don't really understand the correct like draw distance for objects, but also just for like your view as the player. Like if you pull out your camera and you look, I can't visualize in my mind how that's going to look, so I have to like test it over and over again. As you can see, a lot of me climbing up and down the cliff, but it paid off because it ended up looking really good. Here you can see I demolished that incline, so now you can just walk through the forest and come out on the other side in the valley, and I think it looks really, really beautiful, and I think it'll be fun to like explore once I post my DA. Ooh, it's that stupid tree. Okay, you're gonna watch me suffer a little bit as I attempt to get the tree glitch to work, and it doesn't work, and it's very frustrating. If you want to know how to do this glitch, I highly recommend watching someone else's video explaining it, because I am bad at it. But I'm gonna work on that, and then I'm also gonna suffer by trying to get the river to go down in between 2 trees, which ended up not working out in the end, but I got the river to work out, so it looks good in the end. It does, but this is a little painful. But why don't we talk about my DA, my plans for my DA. So my goal is to have a finished version of Nautilus for you to all visit by the end of this year. I don't know how feasible that goal is. It's not set in stone or anything. That's just a goal. I'm not sure if I can get it done at that time, but that's the idea that I have in my mind of how much longer it's going to take to finish this island, quote unquote. When I say finish, I mean put it in a state where I can post a dream address that you can come visit, and it's, you know, fully decorated and everything looks nice and all the areas are done. I'm never going to reset Nautilus. It's my forever island, essentially. It was my day 1 island when the game came out, and, you know, I love all my villagers. I have almost a finished museum. Like, I'm not getting rid of Nautilus. And there will definitely be changes to it in the future, and that may include like doing a 2.0 dream address in the far future. But for now, I just want to finish this version of it so you guys can come visit and take pictures and have fun. And I also want to fundraise and save up to get a second Switch so that I can do more like crazy different themes and do like faster islands, if that makes sense. Have a Switch dedicated to building. So let me know if there are any interesting themes that you would like to see. I have some ideas in my head already of stuff that I would love to try with like all the different codes that people make. I'm so excited. I'm excited to finish Nautilus. And I really like how it's turning out. I feel like I've said that a million times before in this video and also in others, but I really do like how it's turning out, and I'm happy with it. But I am excited to like try a different theme, or like have new villagers, or, you know, just do something a little different. So that's my plan going forward. Once again, will I be able to achieve that goal? That remains to be seen. I am not known for being on time. You know what? No. To be fair to me, I was not expecting Miss Rona to attack me the way that she did last week. And frankly, once again, I feel so bad every time I get on Instagram or on Discord and I'm like, some cartoonishly terrible thing happened to me and I can't get the video out on time. But it keeps happening. I feel like I live in a cartoon. I live in one of those, it's Tom and Jerry and I'm Tom, okay? I'm going through it constantly. And you know, I'm making it through. I'm doing okay, but at the same time, things keep stopping me. Things keep getting in the way. It's like a sign. It's like, stop. You should stop. But I'm not gonna stop. Nothing can stop me, okay? If I can do this, besties, if I can build this, nothing can stop me. Not Rona, not fainting at the grocery store, nothing can stop me. Not a bug. If you heard that, Mr. Bug, I don't know if you're still in my house, but if you heard that, you're not gonna stop me. I have my boot with me. in case you show up again. He hasn't shown up again since the bug incident happened, but I keep an eye out. Don't worry, besties. I'm gonna be honest though, this week really did me in because I am bored. Okay, the first leg of Miss Rona is really terrible. Like, she really took me out. I was going through it. I had 103-degree fever. I was home alone. I tried every soup at Panera Bread. I was going through it. That was a tough time. But now I'm kind of just bored. Like, I'm still positive, but like most of my symptoms are gone. I still have the sore throat and the stuffy nose, but like most of my symptoms are gone. So I'm just in the house, bored. I have been able to catch up on a little bit of TV, not a lot. Looking at screens still hurts me. So I've been watching some dubbed anime. So once again, I don't have to read the subtitles because I have to look at a screen for this. I don't need to be looking at a screen anymore with the headaches and no, absolutely not. But I watched the dub of Given, and that was really fun because one, I didn't have to intake any new information into my mind because I've already watched it, and because I like that show, and so that was fun. I also started watching Skate the Infinity, and I've been enjoying that very much. I love all the kids. I love the cat boy. He's very cute. I love the dads, all the dad friends. I love the JoJo villain guy. He's really fun. So I've been enjoying that. No spoilers though, because I haven't finished it. Slightly unrelated, but I also really want to watch Prey. I mentioned earlier I love a little alien, but I want to watch it in Comanche because I heard that that's the best way to watch it. So I'm going to wait until my brain can fully process subtitles before I sit down and watch that. But if you have been sick recently with anything, let me know what you've been doing to occupy your time. I'm very curious. And also, I hope you feel better. And if you already do feel better, then I hope you feel the same and you don't feel worse in the future, because that's what happened to me. My symptoms have been bouncing back and forth, and it's been very fun. Ooh, speaking of fun though, look at them. They're wearing matching outfits. I just thought that was really cute. But yes, we're moving the campsite again. I, once again, a fool, thought that I was gonna move the campsite once several months ago and then never move it again, and that was a mistake because I ended up moving it maybe 4 or 5 times over the course of building this. I don't know exactly how many, but it was quite a few. I just needed to get it in the right spot, and that took a while because I kept having to move it like 1 tile over, and then of course that means I have to move it twice. Luckily it only costs 10,000 bells now instead of 50,000 like it used to, because that would have been terrible. Oh my god, the amount of wheat fields I had to order on top of this, absolutely not. But this is sort of where the view is really coming into play. As you can see, I'm expanding this cliff area, and we're gonna have the river come down. I'm also moving these trees. I had to knock that tree down because it did not want to go anywhere and let me build. Very irritating. I hate how the cliff trick only sometimes works. Like, I get it's a glitch, but I just wish it was a little bit more consistent. But it is what it is, and I'm glad that they didn't patch it out because it is really useful. But yeah, this is sort of when I had the big epiphany of how I wanted everything to look. And so we're going to have the river coming down, and we're going to have, I think I'm going to move that tree as well. And there's going to be less trees, so there's more room for the water to move. And then in the distance, we're going to have 2 cedar trees that are like the tall one in the back and then the shorter one in the front. And that was actually inspired by my Monet build that I did a couple of months back. That was really fun. That was a Happy Home Paradise build that I did, inspired by a Monet painting. I was having like an existential crisis in the voiceover, but don't mind that. The build is the part that I'm taking inspiration from. And just the view of the 2 cedar trees, the tall one in the back and the short one in the front. And I also feel like that's just like a main vibe, you know? I didn't even mention this earlier in the video, but my island theme is coastal Maine. I'm from there. If you ever hear if I have a slight New England accent or I say words in like a New England accent, that's why. And I feel like that image of like cedar trees sort of cascading down a cliff into like a field of wheatgrass or like seagrass, and then there's like the ocean behind it. I feel like it's a very classic like Maine postcard image that I don't know, that it just feels classic to me. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just overexposed, I guess. But I ended up replacing that tall cedar tree with a stunted one, just so that the perspective made a little bit more sense, because obviously it's in the distance, so the fact that it's so tall, it sort of like shrinks the build and makes it look smaller than it actually is. But having the smaller tree helps it make everything more grand and large. which once again is the goal with this whole build, is to have a really beautiful grand view and to fit my island's theme, of course, which once again is why I'm considering adding the lighthouse up on the cliff next to those cedar trees that I just put down. And I considered adding hydrangea bushes into the field to make it look like blueberry bushes, but I am kind of glad that I didn't do that. One, because I want to be able to run through my beautiful wheat field, and two, because you'll see later on I'm going to try and add some purple hyacinths, and I add them to the edge of the river, and then I sort of extended them out into the field, but it looked weird from the top of the cliff, so I ended up taking those away, but you'll see that later on. Like I mentioned earlier, there are a couple things about this build that I know I want to change already that I noticed after I stopped filming. And one of them is I want to add a row of ducks along the river. You're going to see as the river develops, I'm about to be an absolute fool and attempt to make a pond, which ended up, no, we're not keeping the pond. We're going to have the river curve up and there's going to be a waterfall and it's going to be very beautiful. But I do want to add a row of ducks, and I've seen people do this on Instagram where they have the big wooden duck as the mama duck, and then they have like little rubber duckies as like the baby ducks, and I just think that would be a really cute addition, and I haven't had a chance to do that anywhere else on my island yet, so I thought that this would be a good spot for it. But I wanted this to be sort of like a place that you come to hang out and like be away from the world and like be in nature. I mentioned earlier how I thought about adding the hydrangea bushes as blueberry bushes, and that is sort of inspired by this blueberry patch that I used to live near when I was in middle school, and my sibling and I used to go hang out there and we would eat the blueberries, and it was great until they closed it off, and they're like, someone bought this property and it's private now and you can't have these blueberries, and then they took the blueberries away. They're not even there anymore, which was mean and rude. I was enjoying those blueberries. There's nothing like a good Maine blueberry. Have I talked about blueberry opinions on this channel before? I have strong blueberry opinions, okay? I have to. I'm from Maine. It's my culture. Oh my god. But anyways, blueberry opinions. This is very important, besties. Write this down. There are two types of blueberries as far as I know. High bush and low bush. High bush blueberries are like the big, huge ones that you get at the supermarket most of the time. For if you're not in like a place that grows blueberries, you're probably interacting with high bush blueberries, and they're really big, and you would think that they're like big and juicy and sweet, but they're in fact not like that. They're usually very sour and terrible, and I hate them. I'm doing the cliff trick again, but this time it actually worked, so thanks for that, Nintendo. Appreciate that. We're just going to extend the road down a little bit, but I do most of this road area off camera, and we're going to see that in a later video, so don't worry about it. But you should worry about blueberries, because the other type of blueberries are low bush blueberries, which are the little tiny ones, the little itty bitty tiny ones. Those are the good blueberries, okay? I don't want any high bush blueberries near me, okay? I refuse to eat them. Fresh picked Maine blueberries, low bush blueberries, the little tiny ones, those are the best thing. Oh my god, they're so sweet. They're like how a blueberry is supposed to taste. They're sweet. It's like eating candy. I could literally, there have been times where I have been visiting home and I have like gone to a farmer's market, got myself like a little box with like blueberries in it, and I have sat down and I've eaten the entire thing by myself in one sitting. That is how good they are. I am obsessed with them. They're the best. Those are my blueberry opinions. Like I said, very strong opinions about blueberries. I feel like that's very necessary for me. And I'm right, and I refuse to argue with you in the comments about it. I will say, I do feel for people who don't have access to low bush blueberries, because not everyone does, but if you have tried both kinds and you still prefer high bush blueberries, I don't want to speak to you. Moving on from blueberry opinions, what a great segment of this video. When I said that this voiceover was going to be good, I was not kidding, okay, bestie? This is a serious voiceover. You have no idea how many of these takes have been me repeating myself because I keep getting interrupted by helicopters flying over my apartment. So not only am I dealing with my Kermit the Frog voice, but I also have to deal with helicopters and trucks and so much loud noise that normally doesn't happen. It only happens when I'm recording. They know, besties, they know. They know I haven't recorded anything. I've been living in blissful silence all week. Oh, here I am planting some trees that I may or may not stunt later. I've been living in blissful silence all week. I really wanted to put the campsite on the beach, but it wouldn't fit and I was upset. So we're moving it, I think, maybe for the final time, but perhaps not. But this build has broken me. Getting this voiceover done has broken me. Editing this video broke me slightly. It did take over 2 hours to edit this footage because there was so much of it. But I'm happy with how this turned out. I keep saying it over and over again, but the finished product, I keep hanging out over here. See, that's how you know that a build is good, besties. If I keep hanging out, and yeah, I'm gonna move it one more time, aren't I? Yeah, I am. I am gonna move it one more time. That's, oh, I love that for me. I love that for me so much. If I keep hanging out at a build and like spending time there and taking pictures there, that's how you know it's good. Oh, there's Pecan. She's so short in the weeds. Ooh, speaking of Pecan, I actually have to update something about her in the Sims LP. I'm not gonna talk about the Sims a lot. Also, hi CJ. I'm not gonna talk about the Sims a lot. I'm just gonna talk about it a little bit because I have plans for it. I'm excited to stream it again. I had a lot of fun editing those last couple of videos of the Sims LP. For those of you who don't know, I'm gonna talk about it for a second. I'm doing an LP on my channel where I'm playing The Sims 4, but I have transferred all of my villagers from my New Horizons island into The Sims 4, personalities, relationships, everything. And we're gonna do a legacy challenge where I'm playing as myself Sim, and we're gonna have 10 generations, and we're gonna interact with a ton of other Animal Crossing villagers turned into Sims. So be on the lookout for that. But I'm gonna stream that again soon. I want to stream this week. I think I want to do something this week at least once. You know what, let's say Friday, let's say tomorrow. If you're watching this the day that it goes live, I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow. I haven't picked what I want to stream yet. Leave me a comment letting me know what you want to see me stream. I haven't done a City Folk update in a long time, and I guarantee someone has moved away, so that'll be a little dramatic if we play City Folk. But yeah, let me know in the comments. I'll also put up a poll here. I'll put up a poll on Discord. I'll put up a poll on Instagram. So let me guys know what you want to play. I'm excited to get back into streaming. I miss hanging out with you guys. I am going to be congested though, probably, likely. So, you know, just forewarning, the Kermit the Frog voice probably will be there if I stream tomorrow. So, you know, prepare yourself for that. Here I'm working on the road area. That white plank path ends up, I take that away. It's just too bright. Like the contrast is too much. And I also took away these like extra lines in the road because I thought that it didn't make sense. If, you know, if the road has deteriorated and it's just a dirt road, then there wouldn't be lines on the ground anymore. So I got rid of those, and it's just going to be a dirt road with like weeds growing and stuff. This little area I envisioned in my mind when I conceptualized this entire build, just having like a little spot in the middle of a wheat field by a little flowing river or stream with like a little blanket and a bicycle and maybe like a book or something else on the blanket, or maybe a little snack, I don't know. But I conceptualized that a long time ago, and I'm happy that it finally came to fruition, and it's one of my favorite areas of this entire build. I really like how it turned out. It's just so cute. Like, it's so cutesy. I really want to hang out over there, and it reminds me of, you know, hanging out on the beach with my friends after school, or like going swimming in a lake, or like climbing a mountain just like for fun. I miss that stuff. Not that I can't do those things in Georgia, but you know, my options are slightly limited. But I can do other fun things in Georgia, like go to a fancy Italian restaurant and meet a bird. So, you know, think about that. But yeah, this is when, once again, like I mentioned, the whole offsetting the wheat fields thing was really coming back to bite me. I had to move all of those and adjust them. I was trying to plant those hyacinths in the grass, and I had to keep moving wheat fields because they were offset, and the hyacinths, they need to go on normal tiles. They can't go on quarter tiles. So I just had to keep moving them. And I also wanted to create like a little bit of a path through the grass, so it looked like the bike had like ridden through it and had like sort of like flattened the grass a little bit, if that makes sense. So that was sort of the goal of shifting all of those around. And it was very annoying. This is when the lag was really starting to get to me. The lag from moving the wheat fields around. You know what the worst was though? The lag when you're terraforming. Doing waterscaping and working on cliffs when you have 200 wheat fields on screen, impossible. Would not recommend it, okay? Because you know how frustrating waterscaping especially is, because it's only one button. So, you know, you hit a button and then you realize you did the wrong thing and then you have to redo it. But imagine that, like, a quarter of the speed. That's what it was like. It was the worst. So I'm so glad that I got that river figured out, and then it was just like, that's the way that it is, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Like I said, I'm gonna work on the rest of the cliff a little bit later, but I'm just glad that I got that done, because it was the worst. Once I actually got all of the wheat fields down though, and I wasn't really moving them around anymore, the lag honestly wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. But it, you know, it's still not great. So like I said, if one day this turns into a field of hyacinths because they don't cause any lag, then that's why that happened. But don't expect that anytime in the near future. Like I said, I love this build, and also the idea of getting rid of all these wheat fields that I spent a month ordering causes me physical pain. So yeah, no, not gonna think about that right now. Goodbye, CJ. Right now we're working on the actual campground area. I tried using these like big furniture pieces, like the cookware, and I used a little table, but I ended up removing them in the end. I had like an epiphany when I actually looked at the view later on after working on this area of like where everything needed to be, and also the height of everything. The height of objects in this area is so key because the grass is so tall, but certain objects do peek over the grass, and then also objects that are shorter than the grass, they create holes in the grass that are very obvious from above. So sort of balancing like which objects are shorter and which objects are taller was like a big part of perfecting this area. So don't dismiss the height of an object, okay? An object isn't just the size like on the ground, it's also the height in the air. Wow, that's such an intelligent way of explaining that. But it's true, and it really helped provide a lot of clarity. That's the word, clarity, when I was adjusting little things with the build. And I think right now I'm going to work on this little campfire area, which I do really love how this turned out. Though I will say, in real life, do not start a fire this close to a giant field of wheat if you go camping. Don't do it. I'm not Smokey the Bear, all right? But I do know, don't do that. But it's Animal Crossing, so it doesn't matter. So we're gonna have a little campfire over here. I just wanted to have something over by the ocean where you could like go hang out, maybe if there's like fireworks. Once again, I'm so excited for the fireworks festival. It's my favorite holiday. August is probably my favorite month in the game, I'm gonna be honest. I love the bugs and like the fishing and all the holiday celebrations and just everything about it. It's my favorite. So yeah, what's your favorite month in the game? I'm curious. Are you one of those people who plays only in like one season or 1 month, or do you play the whole year round? I feel like I've asked that question before, but I'm always curious to know because it's an interesting question to ask because there's so many different ways to play this game, and one of them is just to play in the same season and just not leave just because you know your island looks good in that season, and you're valid, bestie. I love that for you. But when August leaves, I am going to leave it as well, so I want to enjoy my time in it as much as I can. And that includes perfecting my fireworks viewing area so I can take pictures of me looking at the fireworks that are cute and not full of gross trash. And also, you know, picking out cute fireworks codes. I have to download those again. I usually delete them and then download them again when the season comes. I used to have a Kirby code and a Pikmin and a Pokeball. Let me know if you have any cute fireworks codes that you like to use when fireworks season comes around. Ooh, Pokeball. That reminds me, I haven't even talked about the Pokemon Direct yet. Oh my god, that was so exciting. But right now, we are going to move the campsite for the final time, and then I think we're going to say goodbye to CJ, and then after that, Isabel is going to announce that we have a visitor at the campsite, which is very unfortunate because it's not in the right spot. But what was fortunate is that who was visiting was Caesar. I love the gorillas. I think they're so cute. I think Caesar's a real cutie. Except for Hans. I hate Hans. Hans, do not like that man. But all the other gorillas, very cute. I took a selfie with him and we had a good time. Obviously, he didn't move in, but it was nice to see him. But yeah, that was my little visitor. Ooh, Pokemon Direct. This is also when I had an epiphany about the flowers. As you can see, I'm removing them now because the height imbalance when you were looking at it from above was just too much, and I just had to get rid of them. So we got rid of those, and now it's really starting to come together. But while I work on the finishing touches, let's talk about that Pokemon Direct. Funny story, actually. I intended to watch it with you guys as like a live stream, maybe on Discord, but obviously I got the Rona, so that didn't happen. But I intended to watch it live by myself at the very least, but that didn't happen either because I forgot to charge my phone the night before, and then at around like 6 in the morning, my power went out and my phone was just about dead. So by the time the direct rolled around at 9 a.m., I was only able to watch like 5 minutes of it before my phone died, and my power was still not back on, and I had no internet, so I wasn't watching it. I watched it later though, and I really enjoyed it. Oh, here's what I replaced the Switch Lite with. I replaced it with this camera with the Polaroids underneath it. I think it's really, really cute, but I do miss the simplicity of the Switch Lite on the ground. So that might change in the future, but that's just like a little detail. And I'll definitely do that camera thing somewhere else on my island because it's really, really cute. And I was adding some leaves down here as well as some leaf codes that I downloaded. And I really like how it sort of fills out the space a little bit because I didn't want to have the wheat fields too close to the fire because that would just be, I know, you know, once again, it's not real, but at the same time, it does look a little bit silly to have an open flame with a bunch of wheat fields around it. But yes, okay, the Pokemon Direct. All right, listen, I already knew that I was getting Violet. I already decided in my head that was the game that I was going to get. But when I saw Miraidon's transformation into like full motorcycle mode, that's when I knew, like, that's my game. I need to ride around on that lizard and take my lizard to the gas station. That's when I knew, besties. But let me know which version you want to get. Also, let me know which starter you want to get. I still really love the fire type. I forget his name, but he's really cute. But I have to see their final forms first, because if I don't like their final form, I'm not going to take it. But, you know, we'll see when they release those. I also really like the new characters. Penny, very adorable. Grusha, big fan of Grusha. All the new characters are really fun, and I'm excited to try the different gameplay modes. I like that how it's like a real RPG with like different paths you can take. I'm excited for that. But yeah, let me know what your favorite part of the Direct was, and which game you're getting and which starter you're picking, and if you're excited or not, or if you're gonna get the game or not. I'm curious. I want to know. Let me know your opinions. I'm open to Pokemon opinions. I am closed to Blueberry opinions. That is just how it is, besties. I'm sorry. We're almost done with the build. This is crazy. It feels like it's taken me a million years to record this voiceover, besties. I told you guys I wanted this voiceover to be good. I wanted to have lots of good stories, lots of good commentary about the actual build itself. But that means it took me a lot of takes, even more than normal because of my voice right now and my Kermit the Frog moment that I'm having. But we're almost done. We almost made it through. We're just adjusting little things. I got Rover's briefcase, but I ended up getting rid of that. Here's where we are getting the final layout of the actual camp area with, I ended up putting the futon down, and then I put like a lantern and like a radio, just like little tiny objects that aren't getting in the way of the eye line of the wheat fields when you're up on the cliff. That was essentially what I was going for. And I recolored those futons off camera. I just wanted to like get the layout correct before I committed to recoloring them. But yeah, we're gonna throw down all those little objects. We're just gonna go around and add like the last finishing touches. I think I exchanged that shorter radio for the tape deck to balance it out with the lantern on the other side. I was checking a lot at this point to like make sure that everything looked nice from above to get that view, besties. That's the whole point of the build. I extended this a little bit. We're just going to add some custom designs down on the ground. We have those leaves. We also have, I added the little plastic baggie underneath the tape deck. We threw some leaves down by the campfire as well to sort of fill out that space because it was very barren compared to the rest of the wheat field. I also put a little gyroid down by the river to sort of extend from the gyroid forest build. So he's hanging out over there. He's super cute. And then I think that's it. Ooh, you know what I did? I added two things. I added those lanterns that you can get from the Nook Stop, the ones that you like hold. I added those on the rocks. And then I also added a custom design underneath the car that looks like tire tracks. So it's like the car was driving up on the dirt. I just thought that area needed something else because it was so empty compared to like the really detailed road code behind it. So I wanted to fill that out a little bit more. And the dirt tracks look perfect. And once again, I wouldn't have noticed that unless I had looked at it from above. Same with adding that seaweed over there. I knew I needed something over there and the seaweed was perfect. But yeah, this is about when we're done. I think I'm going to add the dirt tracks now. I'm excited to work on the beach area now that I know like what objects I've included in this part of the campsite, because obviously I want to have certain campsite objects that I wouldn't use elsewhere on my island. But you know, once I figure out what fits in the actual campsite itself, then I can sort of put everything else over on the beach. So we'll probably have that like that outdoor kitchen outside on the beach, and then a couple of other objects that I didn't get to include in the final build, just planting some weeds, adding down an extra code, and then we're gonna head down to Town Hall, and we're gonna invite a campsite villager so you can see like the final look. And I just invited like some loser, I don't know, I just pulled out a random amiibo card. But anyways, here we are at the end of the build. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the final product. I am so pleased with how this turned out. I love this view, I'm obsessed. Let me know in the comments if you're obsessed as well, or leave a like on this video. That really helps me out. Once again, thank you for dealing with my Kermit voice for almost an hour. I really commend you for that. If you want to watch more videos of mine that don't have the Kermit voice, you can watch them linked in the card, or you know, on my channel and playlists. I post Animal Crossing content here twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays normally. when I don't have a virus. I also try to stream over here on YouTube at least once a week. Like I said, I'm going to try and stream tomorrow, Friday, if you're watching this when it goes live. So be on the lookout for that. There's going to be polls on my Instagram and my Discord and on this YouTube channel. You can find all those things linked in the description. So let me know what you want me to stream, and hopefully I'll see you there. And hopefully I'll see you again on Saturday as well for my next speed build. Bye! Oof, the lag. Oh my gosh.